Awesome. So now we're going to be actually joined by the guy who's probably the favorite to win National Coach of the Year. That's Indiana's Curt Cignetti. Hey, Coach.
How you?
Well, welcome to the 24/7 Sports Recruiting Show.
Great to be here.
Absolutely. So I got to feel like you probably had a lot of kids get interested in Indiana more so, in the fall, since you guys went 11-1 and buzzsawed through a lot of that schedule than maybe the interest that you had over the summer. How do you take advantage of the kind of increase in interest, but still stay true to who you are as a program?
I think it's easy. I think all of us coaches across the country want to take the best players that fit our program, and winning opens a lot of doors. And it opened doors and secured some guys that signed today. But I think maybe where you see that more with the high school guys is next year's class. The momentum that creates, and the kids that were at the game that had not made a decision yet, and now it's portal season.
Coach, to that point, you did a great job in the portal last year, but now you're winning. You won 11 games. You guys are likely headed to the playoffs. I've got to imagine that there's been a bump in maybe the 2025 guys down the stretch that were interested. But like you said, that big bump probably comes in 2026. Are you finding now that kids are reaching out more to you guys rather than you having to pound the pavement to spread the Indiana gospel? They're coming to you to learn about that gospel right from them.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's the case. And, a lot of guys that maybe wouldn't have considered IU based on past history now are very interested. So, and I agree with you also that you'll probably see that bump a little bit more in the next class than this past class, because we had a lot of these guys committed already. Now, there were a few that had reopened their commitment at one point in time and had some, traditional top 10 offers that came back in the fold once we got on a roll, which we were happy to see. So, but I think you'll see the bump in the portal too.
Coach, it's been a absolute brutal part of the calendar when you think about it. I mean, you got signing day today, you got the transfer portal on December 9th, you're getting ready for a college football playoff run. What's this been like for you and your staff over the last couple of weeks, just trying to juggle all these things?
Well, we just finished playing, so this week has been a lot of portal evaluation. Today we're going to practice. It'll be a light practice, and the next 2 days we will too. We don't find out who we play till Sunday. So the practices will be a little bit more basic and not require, all morning of preparation. So we'll still be able to evaluate. Now, once we know who we're playing and we're in that game plan prep for 2 weeks, because next week will resemble sort of a game week more than an off week. Now you're dealing with potential official visits of portal guys also. And you're dealing with player retention. Some of those conversations have begun to take place. And the balancing act, honestly, for a head coach now is making sure your team keeps the main thing, and not, some of those things that you have to talk about for next year.
Coach, really appreciate the time here. Thanks for joining us, and best of luck in the playoffs.
Thanks, guys.
All right, so as you said, Indiana does go portal heavy, at least to start off the Curt Cignetti tenure, to great success, obviously. But let's stick with the high school here. Who's a guy from this class who you like?
I like Tyrone Burris. He's an in-state guy. He's the highest-rated in-state commit that they have in this class. A top 10 player in the state, a top 40 edge rusher, but at 6'4", 235 pounds, he's a sprinter. He's a guy that, he runs on the 100-meter and 200-meter team, runs the 60 in high school. And so you take a guy like that who's got that speed, who's got the size, who's got that presence, and we know what Indiana has done to teams offensively this year. But what's been kind of overlooked is how well their defensive play. There's a big reason why they've had so many blowouts this year. Their defense has done a lot of damage, and I think that Tyrone Burris, being that in-state guy, he bought into this program before they ever played a game this season. And so that's the kind of momentum where you're getting the number 8 player in the state of Indiana, but I have a feeling in future classes, Curt Cignetti is going to be getting players that are rated much higher in state and now giving them another alternative to stay in state and play for the Hoosiers if they're going to have this kind of success.
I'm going to go with their one top 247 signee. That's Byron Baldwin, a guy that they worked hard to get back in the boat after he decommitted. And this is a guy that we love out of St. Francis. And if you know anything about St. Francis, they produce football players. This guy can play on the perimeter, can play safety as well. We just talked about Laganza Hayward. And these guys that play early at the next level, they look a lot like Byron Baldwin. Just the versatility really stands out. High level of competitive nature that he has coming out of St. Francis, played exceptionally well versus IMG Academy as well. So this is certainly going to be a guy that Indiana can hang their hat on.